Hi everyone, this is Skeddy, amateur DJ and producer. I have decided to create a YouTube channel based around being an amateur DJ and producer and what it's like and the things that amateur DJs and producers go through in order to make it and what they experience. Shows that they're going to, shows that they're doing, and people that they meet. In this very first vlog, I'm going to talk to you guys about one of my favorite units that I started working on, and that is the Denon Prime 4. I've had the Denon Prime 4 for a few months since it came out, and so far I love it. I've had some hiccups with it, things that I've had to learn about with it, also these really cool techniques, but I want to go dive into the Prime 4 a little bit more. But first, let's talk about last Friday. I was asked to DJ at Chupa Bar. It was super last minute, but it's so fun. I love DJing at Chupa Bar because it's such a small venue. It's a real kind of intimate venue where people can come and dance. They can have food, drinks, cocktails, whatever it might be. And it's just a fun place to practice, work on your DJ skills, practice some sets that you have in mind. And so far, it's had a really good response. I will also be DJing at Chupa Bar October 4th, this next Friday. So if you guys are located in Colorado Springs, come down, check it out, show some support. There's a lot of great local artists that just come to Chupa Bar to have some fun and DJ, and it's just like a hobby of theirs. So you guys will see me there October 4th. So guys, in this vlog, I want to talk about something that Denon does that I think is really cool. They have a forum where you can go post, ask questions, offer suggestions in regards to their equipment, and I think it's like DenonDJForum.com, but I'll have that link in the description below. But I want to talk about what people are suggesting, new things that the Prime 4 should come out with, and I thought this was a great vlog because it is a brand new unit. It allows Denon to evolve this product a lot more than where it's at and can continue to do updates for the product. So I'm going to log on to the Denon Forum, which I'm a part of, and I'm going to screenshot a lot of these suggestions that people have, and then I'll talk about some of my suggestions as well that I've put in the Denon Prime Forum. And Denon, if you're watching this, let us know what you think. If you guys have the Prime 4, let me know what you think of the suggestions off of the website, and leave a comment. Alright, let's go through the Denon Prime 4 unit. I'm going to talk about things that I like and dislike about it. Things that I feel are really cool, and then other things that maybe just need a little revamp if they decide to do a second edition of this model. But first off, I love this hard screen cover. It's so amazing. I use it all the time, even when it's just at my house for storage. I always keep it on there just because it's a nice little hardcover case for your touchscreen, which I think is awesome. You guys are actually gonna laugh at this. I've got some shit about this, but I leave these little plastic covers on the platters on the screen. Even right here, you can see it's kind of bubbling, but I leave it on just as like a little extra layer of protection so the unit stays nice and fresh and clean. So if I ever decide to get rid of this, there's going to be minimal scratches on it. It's just a personal preference of mine. I was on the Denon DJ Forum, and I got a lot of shit for this because I still had the film on there. It's just like a personal preference. I think it helps the unit and just staying protected and doesn't really affect any of the performance quality on the screen. But I don't know if you can see this, but you can see a lot of like the finger smudges. It looks like there's some scratches on there, and that's actually on this little plastic protection sheet right there. So that's why I leave that on there, just so it helps protect everything a little bit more. So loading in an external drive, one thing you want to do with the Prime 4 is make sure you have a really good high quality USB drive. I think this is at 110 or like 150 megabytes per second transfer speed. Make sure you have something that's really high quality when you're using this unit, since it's a standalone unit. Alright, so we're turning the unit on, and I love these little like features that come up. They're like checks, internal checks for the unit, where the lights come up. You can see if the screen's working or not. The different types of colors that light up. I love that about the unit, and I know it's really tacky, but if you have your USB drive in, you can automatically see it wants to load the USB drive on here, so you have the option to pick and choose. But what I like to do is I like to make certain crates and playlists throughout my USB drive. I'm not a pre-recorded DJ by any means. I don't like pre-recorded sets, but I also I plan my sets out. So when I am DJing, I know exactly what songs are coming up. I set cue points within the songs as well, hot cues, and that's just how I DJ. So I really like this. I love the touch screen down. I love the touch screen, but I also love the touch pads down here. They're pretty solid. I don't really have anything bad to say about the touch pads. One neat little cool feature is on the Prime 4 unit, it loads the album artwork right there, which I think is really cool. And it just adds another little cool feature to the whole unit itself. The overall quality of the Prime 4 is pretty good. The only thing I could say I don't like about this compared to like the MCX 8000 unit that I had previously is that I noticed the faders up and down, they get pretty weak. I've actually changed this knob over from this one to this one, thinking it was the knob, the plastic knob getting worn out, and it's actually not. It's actually the fader, and this is the only one, as you could tell, that is a little kinked and cockeyed a little bit. And I use decks 1 and 2 quite a bit. Every now and then I'll use 3 and 4, and you can see these 3 and 4s are pretty solid, as well as the actual fader from left to right. But this is the only one that you can see is, has a little bit of signs of wear already. So maybe Denon can work on the actual quality of the components and the mechanisms underneath this surface as well. I think some really neat things about the Denon unit is you can scroll through a lot of options. It gives you the utility menu. It gives you a preference menu of the record option, which is great, in the source button. Now, this is one thing that I've put under the Denon Prime 4 units, and this is through Serato too. I think some people have actually commented on this as well, but when you record, it'd be nice if there's an EQ master like on Serato, and I'll post that and give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about. But on Serato, when you hit the record, it gives you the ability to manually adjust the EQ for the master recording, which I think is really cool. It makes a huge difference, so you can have it really low and then go back after you record the mix and master the volume a little bit more after the recording. That's what I like to do, but some people who are well experienced think it's fine the way that it is. Coming into one of the first things I want to talk about, this was on the Denon DJ Forums. I'm going to try to pull that up, but under this drop-down menu, you'll see there's a quantize option. I had mine highlighted, and one thing that really stinks about the Prime 4 is every time you turn the Prime 4 engine off, which the off button is right here, you have to come back in and reset the quantize option. I don't know if there's an update for that yet. I know that was one of the biggest things that Prime 4 users wanted to see, is that if you have that option on, you're able to save it under USB settings. Kind of like right here, where if you change any of these settings, you can save them to the drive. So hopefully Denon, that's one of the things that came out with a new update, or is going to be updated, where when you turn your unit on, the quantize option always stays on. Here's one of the Prime 4 things that me personally, it's like driving me crazy, and it's just me being extremely picky, but right here you can see the line for the beat count for the grid right there, and it's right here on the other side as well. One thing I would like to see is if Denon brings this line right up to here, whoops, right up to a line that's evenly matched, or bring it down to this line right in the middle, so that these two markers are matching each other pretty fairly easy. Now when I'm mixing, it just, for some reason, it must be the way my brain operates. It kind of throws me off when these two lines are not matching with this line, and I think it's like an OCD problem of mine. So maybe that's an option to consider in the future, Denon, but having this line, one solid red line all the way across, I think would look really cool, pretty sleek, instead of it being off-centered or higher or lower than the next line. Okay, so one of the other things that I saw within the Denon DJ Forums is you have the option to go to various crates, playlists. You can prepare things a little bit differently. You can go through different types of folders and even search for items. That's all great, but when you're looking at this or you're even DJing, there's no clock up here. And for those of you guys who have requested a clock, maybe in the upper right hand corner, so you can see the time, I know that really helps me out a lot. But Denon, if you're watching that I think that's a really great suggestion, to put a clock right here in the top right corner or the top left corner over here. One thing I do to kind of give myself a clock and a time period is, besides recording my sets a lot, every time I get started, I always start the recording option. One, so I can record it, but two, it's kind of a do-it-yourself hack to see a clock where you're not having your phone out and being able to look at that, but you can see how long you've been DJing just by basing it off of the record time. So maybe that's an option. Maybe it won't be, but I know when you have an internal clock of some sort, you need some sort of little tiny battery for to retain the memory for the time. So I don't know if the unit has those little batteries in there that help save the time and the memory for the little clock option. I don't know if that's integrated into the unit itself just yet, but I understand why it's not on there, because you have to unplug and plug this unit back in all the time, and turning it on and off, that might defeat the feature. The next feature I think that would be really cool for Denon to integrate into the unit is a screensaver option. So I know when I'm playing at gigs a lot, when I'm setting up my unit and getting ready to go on, I like to go through all my settings, set myself up, set my EQs just right, and my faders, make sure everything's solid, make sure I have filters on and whatnot. But with that, you have to leave the unit on. And with the screen being on for so long, there have been some comments about the unit screen possibly burning out. And that is the next suggestion for Denon, is to put a screensaver option on here. Is that when the screen's hasn't been touched in quite some time, you're not using it, it goes to maybe a lighter colored screen, it goes into an energy saving mode, whatever it might be, to help prevent this screen from burning out. Now, I haven't had any issues with the screen, knock on wood. The screen's been super solid so far. I love the touchscreen option. I haven't noticed that it gets hot, especially when I play for an hour and a half to 2 hours or so. The unit overall stays fairly cool, but I can definitely understand where the screensaver option would be a nice feature to have. Even just as a nice little cool sleep mode, where the screen shuts off, and maybe you could have like the different album artworks going through the screensaver. So if you guys are seeing that again, Denon DJ, maybe that's a great suggestion for the Denon Prime 4 screen. The next option I think I personally would like to see with the Prime 4 is the effects option. So on each side you have effects 1 and effects 2. One thing I love about this is it gives you all the options and the different effects just in this little knob right here. You can go through them. As you can see, there's a scratch option, there's a reverb option. My favorites are like the delay, the echo, but then when I'm looking for something in a hurry, like a roll or even like a phaser or flanger type of setting, you can see how many times I have to scroll through all the different options. And sometimes that can be a pain in the butt, especially when you're DJing really fast and you're trying to mix on the fly and do something really cool. What I would like to see is like something under the preference menu. You can click the preference menu, scroll down to the effects menu, and then you can preload your effects and save them under your USB drive. So every time you load your USB drive, you can have maybe 1 or 2 effects on there that you really like, or maybe you want 10 or 8 or 3 or 4 or 5, however many you want. It gives you the option to load the specific ones under the effects 1 and then the effects 2, which I think would be really cool. I know Serato has that option right now under their effects options, where you can pick and choose your effects, and I think with how awesome the Prime 4 is, that would be super easy to accomplish. Okay, lastly, my suggestion for the Prime 4 is with the manual loop. This one is really interesting and different. On the MCX 8000, they didn't have this knob right here. Now this knob is cool because right here, as you can see, you can adjust the auto loop count, and that's neat for turning the knob, but you have to press it in and out in order to activate it and deactivate it. What I like and don't like about that is I love the knob, but let's say if I'm in a hurry and I'm trying to mix really fast and I'm trying to loop something on the fly, as you can see, like if I accidentally go to loop it, and then like if I'm going on and I accidentally try to loop it, and then it might shorten it or make it longer if I accidentally turn the knob itself while trying to loop. That's the only thing I don't like about the loop option right here. Maybe it should be a button on the side. I haven't really quite figured these out yet. I thought originally that was to turn the loop in and out, but as you can see, that really doesn't do anything. You know, it's kind of confusing. So I feel like these features are kind of pointless right here unless I'm using them wrong and you have to move the move the loop in by manually adjusting it. But I think that's a personal thing. It might be that I'm just kind of borderline retarded at the moment, but you know, if this is something where you can just hit out and in and have the loop come in and out without having to press the knob down, I think that'd be really cool. It saves a lot of hassle by accidentally readjusting the loop count by moving it to the left or right by pressing the knob. All right, so those are my suggestions, tips for Denon with the Prime 4. If you guys have the Prime 4, go to the Denon DJ Forum, check out what everyone else has to say about the unit. They also have a lot of suggestions, things to use the unit a little bit better, improvements for Denon with the new unit, with your updates. I love that site. Gives you the ability to add your input to Denon so they can overall become a better company and better serve the people that are buying their products. Thank you guys for tuning in to my very first vlog of an amateur DJ and producer. Make sure to stay tuned in for next week's vlog. I will be diving into producing music and what I've done on how to learn how to produce music, doing music production, mixing and mastering my songs so they sound a lot better. So guys, stay tuned. Don't forget, if you want some Skeddy merch, log on to my Etsy store, Skeddy's World. You can also go to my website, skeddy.world. You can pick up some really cool iPhone and I believe Android covers, if I got that right. I have some really cool Skeddy shirts as well. Link is in the description below. Thank you guys again. Do good, be good. See ya.